Good morning, y'all. It's Timothy. If you know me well, you know one of my biggest pet peeves is people who don't fucking listen. It gets on my nerves. I got mad at my so called buddy, Sean, who's no longer a friend in my book, because they had me standing an hour in the rain, which is exactly why my hair is frizzy and my boots were peeling. Really expensive boots, mind you, but not expensive enough, clearly, because they were peeling. And that pissed me off because it's like a whole hour of just like the most avoidable situation ever. He almost got fought. I don't like when people do dumb shit. Turns out common sense ain't all that common. But in the creative space, there's always been like some sort of conflict, some sort of issues, and I hate it so much. Like, for example, when I was like between the ages of like 15 to 17, I worked really hard on this script. I'm debating on if I want to tell you the plot line. I guess I could, because it's not like I can always pick it up at any time. But the plot line was a bunch of teenage like drug dealers who were skimping out on paying their dealer back eventually were given like 72 hours or less to pay back the supplier all the thousands of dollars they're owed, or else they were going to lose their lives. And it was a very fun script to work on. It had multiple layers, and it was going to be one of those scripts where you ever watch a movie and then things just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Like the issue starts off relatively solvable, kind of small, but still kind of serious. But then the characters are so fucking dumb, so ridiculous that it just like spirals into this huge thing. Kind of like an average episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But as I was saying, I found this one dude, I think he's in like Ohio. He was this like guy. He liked giallo films. He was gay. Not there's not much to say about him other than we seemed to at first click until later on, let's just say creative conflict. That always happens. I like to think of myself as someone who communicates very well, but sometimes, how do I put this? Kind of like how you can bring a horse to water and you can't make it drink. You can bring all your thoughts and words to someone, but you can't make them think because they're fucking dumb. Let's just say me and that guy had to part ways because I remember, what was it exactly with them? I know that the reason things ended were that they tried to gaslight me and say that I didn't work on any of, like, how it worked is I had struggled, I still to this day struggle with actually formatting things on Celtics, but we had a deal where I would name them as like a helpful like co-writer or co-producer or co-director on the script or whatever, as long as they helped me format it the way I wanted to. And I was open to like certain lines being created and also feedback. Seems like a pretty good deal, right? You don't really have to do fucking much. And at first things were amazing, simpatico, perfect, mwah. Until, let's just say, I remember the big thing that made us part ways was that, like, they were like, hey, like, have you worked on the slides yet? I want to work more on the script and you haven't updated the slides. And I was going through a very deep depression as a teenager because of fucking course I was. But I one day I uploaded like 14 fucking different slides of and updated it so much, and then this dumbass tried to gaslight me and be like, "You didn't update it at all. There's nothing different." And I said, "Do you not see the 14 slides? The 14 slides?" And I already told them it was supposed to be like a really long movie, but how I was open to an episodic series, but mostly that it was the ambition was a movie. And they basically tried to tell me like, "Oh well, you've already got like 10 pages in, so this is gonna like we're basically towards the end of the film." Nigga, what? No, we are not. But then also they kept doing shit where they would like remove things I insisted on including entirely, and like they just made shit really weird. So I guess this story isn't as interesting as I thought it would be. So let's skip over it and just say I've dealt with creative differences with people for quite a while. And I don't know, it frustrates me because I'm a very straightforward person. I remember when I was young, I used to sneak out to the auditorium of my elementary school, and I would sneak into like the auditorium and play on the piano before my mom could pick me up or whatever, because sometimes it would take her a while. And I remember one day, and also sometimes throughout the school day, like if I went to the bathroom or had a spare moment. And then I remember this older woman caught me, and I tried to run out, and she was like, "It's okay, sit down, hey. I can teach you how to play something like this. I can teach you how to play things like this." And I said, "Oh, really? You can teach me how to play piano?" And she didn't just, she was like, "I can teach you how to play instruments. Yeah." She didn't want to directly say, "I can't teach you how to play piano." But she did. She was like, "Oh, yeah, I can teach you notes." And she made it seem like she was going to teach me shit. Anyway, I remember my disappointment when one day I did have like a free period during elementary school, and she invited me to see her. And then I went to the auditorium, and it was just her and some big percussion drums, like the types you use with your hands. If she had told me up front that she only knows how to play percussion drums, like, it's like she didn't know guitar, she didn't know piano, she didn't know the cool shit. That's the cool shit. She just was like, "I can teach you percussion." And then she just was like, now do this, a bump, and then a bump, bump. And I was like, yeah, this isn't for me, I'm sorry. And then she got an attitude and I left. And it's like, well, bitch, I'm sorry. You saw me playing a piano and you said this bitch would love the drums. I hate to break it to you, I don't fucking, like, no. Like, at least make it the cool fucking drums with the sticks, I'm just saying. But I don't know. Oh, let's slip in some more interesting stories. When I was a film extra, there would be plenty of moments where other people were a dumbass, and it made me think, okay, it's good that I'm getting this experience so that when I become a director, I know how to speak up and not let shit like this slide. Because holy shit, like the director on this one film said it was supposed to take place in the 70s. The director was funny as hell because every single member of like the extras he chose online were gay, but he didn't know that. And he basically, like, all we knew is that the movie was going to be a mostly gay film and that we were going to be party goers. We didn't know that we'd be saying slurs. So when he said, gather around everybody, okay, for this scene I need you to go super homophobic, like hella hard with the slurs. And it's like, hey, we are all extremely young, under-talented, and or severely underpaid gays. And you didn't want us, so we have to figure out absolutely last minute how to commit a hate crime on camera? Okay, and it was very awkward because everyone was either the men were very clearly gay. You would look at them, and the women were just awkward. So it was like, screw you, insert word there. And like people were trying, but it wasn't fully working the best that it could. It's like, I'm sorry for fucking General So Chicken. It's a little hard to like, like that's all we're getting paid in. And if you're wondering, the movie never even got made. But don't worry, we did eventually get some good scenes and get some good cuts in. As good as you could get with free talent. But this one fucking guy, I remember for this one stupid ass individual, like, it was me and him in a scene in front of the camera. We were having individual shots. And basically the director told us, oh, right, now I just need you two to just, like, call him, like, point to the camera, act like it's the main character, and just call it slurs and laugh. But only for, like, 10 seconds. No longer than 10 seconds. Count to 10 in your head. And then, guess what? I nailed it perfectly at 10 seconds. My co-star kept talking and they kept trying to be like, haha, isn't it weird how he probably like fucks dudes in the ass? Isn't it? And I kept just kind of being like, yeah. And the director was like, cut. Hey, we said count to 10 in your head. So like after like 10 seconds of like laughing, giggling, bullying, you're supposed to stop. And then guess what? The scene started up again. You want to know what my co-star did? The exact same fucking thing. And I even on camera, you could like my co-star was like, haha, yeah, I bet he takes dick up the ass. And you could see me being like, stop. He said stop. And then he was like, what? She said stop. And he just kept going. And then the director threw up his hands like, cut! Fucking Jesus, did you not hear me? And started yelling at both of us like we both were the problem. Like, nigga, you see me talking to our teeth gritted like I'm in a hostage situation, but okay. Another time I was in an actor in a film that also didn't get fucking finished. It was a cool one. I remember I got so dressed up because the casting call said, ooh, you know what? Like, it said dress as if you're going to a fancy Sunday brunch at a high-end restaurant. I showed up in my Sunday best. Like, sweet beret, hair laid underneath, my dainty little high-end little earrings, because of course I have that, a nice simple little necklace, my little like mauve flower print dress, sundress, a nice little cardigan, and a nice modest little pearl bracelet. I looked amazing, and I made sure my makeup was like definitely glam, but still simple. I looked fucking fire. God, I looked amazing. You want to know what other people showed up as? T-shirt with shitty logos that were peeling. Ripped jeans. And they weren't like crew, you know, these weren't the craft and the PA. I'm talking like this is actually people who showed up for the gig. You had one job. Like they were gonna feed you and get okay. Anyway, I got lucky because for me specifically, I guess they realized, okay, she's one of the only like 3 people, maybe no, probably like 2 people here who's dressed up. Let's get her a close-up so that we can just make it clear that this is supposed to be a fancy joint. And I was like, okay, I get a close-up. Fuck yeah. The movie never got released. But I got a close-up, bitch. I was fucking ecstatic. And then this old-ass man, he was like 50, 60 or something. He looked like, kind of like Rob Reiner, I think that's the name of the actor. He looked scary like Rob Reiner. But he sat next to me. And he was dressed up in a suit and all that because he listened. But you know what else? He just could not listen for fucking shit. Because As an extra, you're supposed to be quiet on set unless told otherwise. The director did not tell us otherwise, but it's still common fucking sense that if there's a scene going on, you shouldn't be talking. This man thought it would be funny, I guess, to flirt with me or just to seem like a funny guy. He was like, the directors didn't tell us to be quiet during the set. Anyone with common sense knows you're supposed to tell extras to be quiet on set. So I guess I don't have to be quiet on set. And then as the scene went, like, mind you, they have a whole orchestra and the main character's dressed up like some crazy-ass woman from the Victorian era or some shit. And then this old-ass man next to me, like, despite actually the director did say a few times, like, all right, everybody, we're about to get started. Everybody, silence, 1, 2, and then, like, he still would take it upon himself to be like, oh, wow, look at the decor, look at the restaurant, look at everything, and you can, like, sort of hear him in the back amongst the orchestra playing, like, their instruments, like, sort of, but not really, and I kind of thought to myself, why am I sat next to another dumbass nigga as an extra? If I had a nickel for every time I've been with a dumbass male extra, I'd have fucking 10 cents, which isn't a lot. It's just strange that it happened twice. And he was going to vote me into his bullshit. And I thought to myself, don't fuck up this movie. It's a student film. Like, you did have the sound guy, and I guess he didn't fully pick it up, but I'm sure he would have later. Like, ugh. Anyway, and then he did that for multiple takes, and I guess he got even more ballsy, because then he started shouting like, oh, wow! Look at the orchestra and the food and the clothing and the hey, what's that lady doing over there? And he was pointing at her and shit, despite being instructed to act like she's not fucking there, and like to just pretend like we were eating and minding our fucking business. And eventually the director finally, after a million takes, notices, and he's like, cut, hey, and he says like, hey, we're gonna need every extra to be quiet, okay? Just you don't actually talk, you just pretend like you're talking, mouth words. And then just fake eat your food. Don't clink plates. Don't yell. Don't do any of that. Just be normal. Just, yeah. I want you to guess what the old man did again. He sure did start yelling again. He almost got our asses kicked off. And I still got my close-up, but he pissed off most of the staff, so it wasn't as long as the close-up because he showed he was unprofessional, and he was my assigned close-up buddy because he was the only other person who dressed fucking properly. I have to say, of all the times I've been on film sets, the way these actors and even the people behind the scenes and everybody is, I see why directors are usually known for having rage issues. 100%. Also, making, like, that's why I prefer to work on most projects myself. Because if I'm the only one who's in charge of writing it, then I get all the clout, and I don't have anyone doing any dumb shit or putting me through any bullshit or stress or any annoying shit. Ever. Ooh, I also remember this one time, actually, another time I was a PA. It didn't last long because the director was, But let's just put it like this. The director, like, there was some people coming in for the casting call, and it was one little girl. And the role was seriously like, hey, this is like someone who's going to be like, who can be very emotional, who is very reactive, who can like portray honest depictions of sadness and happiness and frustration, more complex emotions than, anyway, let's just say a little girl and her parents applied for the gig. She was not at all what was necessary, because let me tell you, like, each time she did the take, she just would say, please let me see my family. Please. And then they'd say, oh, that's sweet, girl. We're gonna need you, like, screaming, crying, kicking, like, yelling. Like, show us how you are when you're actually, like, full of rage, full of anger. You wanna know what happened? They made it clear, like, even her own family and me, we were like, yeah, you can let loose. We aren't gonna judge you. Just go, like, go, like, crackheady. They looked at me funny when I said crackheady, but still, it was like, yeah, go, like, act like you're being, and they said, act like you're being torn away from your own parents who you love so much, and you're gonna be locked in a cage somewhere, never to see them again. Act like you're in the most traumatic situation of your life. Like, really let that emotion out and just scream and yell, like, ah. Now, go again. You want to know what the little girl did? She looked at the piece of paper, put it down, and said, please let me see my family. Please. Again. And then it was just an extremely awkward silence. And the director was like, would it help if we have our PA over here, Tamia, try to grab you from your mom and dad? Will that help? And then the little girl looked at me and she was like, No. That little girl was like, fuck that bitch. And yeah, and then the director was like, well, okay, we can let you know. And then, mm. Oh yeah. Trusting others for your creative process can be so fucking annoying in a million ways. That's also why I'm friends with certain people in the comedy scene, and anyone I know has told me that if you ever try to put on a showcase or an open mic, you will deal with so many different big personalities and big egos who don't even have that much talent. You'll have bitches who aren't even funny asking to bump every other comedian and go first, or asking to be the headliner, or asking for money and being like super audacious and like really, really. It's fucking absurd, let me tell you. And like some people will just cancel out of nowhere, like even if you're paying them, and if you pay them in advance, they'll just be like, hi, I'm not showing up, bye, and just like ruin it for you. God, like that's trusting the creative process with other people can be so awkward because they will make you feel awkward for your own vision even if they knew what they were going into. But like I said, you can bring your idea to someone, you can't make them think. Like, ugh. I remember I once showed my script to this one dude who I met on a film set. And he had a personality disorder. He had dissociative identity disorder. Very interesting seeing how he was that way. Let's just say he got very mean and snarky. And he was like, why is it in all your scripts that people are just fucking mean to each other? That's not how it works in real life. Says the guy who was being mean to me, who asked to see my scripts, and I sent my scripts. And it's like, yeah. And also it's like, yeah, no shit, dumbass. The script is about like one script is about bullying, the other is about a bunch of shithead lackey teenagers selling fucking drugs and being the most terrible fucking little shits ever, but how they have their own complexities, so they're still human, of course. Like they're not evil, they're just stupid ass teenagers put in a bad situation with very limited skills. It's like, yeah, you saw a script about bullying and then like fucking panic against your life while also being a bratty teenager, and then another script about bullying, and you were like, why is everyone so mean? And then you decided, I'm gonna be really mean to me about this. Very fucking annoying. But it's okay, I've seen his acting skills. Let's just say he's nothing to write home about. He did have sexy legs, though, I have to say that. But he looked like a dolphin. Well, okay, I don't need to say that. Let's stay on topic. Anyway. And I guess this is leading up to my main point today. So, I told a friend of mine who produces music, not the guy I had a crush on recently, another friend, longtime friend. And I talked to them and I was like, hey, are you still open to making a beat with me on a song? Because I have a really good idea. And this was, like, it's a much simpler concept. Because mind you, I tried to make a song with them and their friend Cody a while back. Simply put, it was, they didn't understand. Like, they were like, ooh, let's do it like Kenny Beats. You explain your vague idea and we try to translate it. And I was like, okay, I have this song that I'm making that kind of like has the energy of like Red White from Ace Attorney, where the song's just supposed to be like, look, I'm an arrogant motherfucker. I get what I want. I be killing pussy and murdering bitches and like getting away with it, and I'm smug and arrogant. And I sent them like some songs that had like the BPM I wanted and the general beat and energy I wanted and all that, and they just ghosted me and whatever, because they were too cowardly to say they didn't like the vision and didn't support it, which was bogus, because I like upfrontness, but whatever, I get it, it's hard. Anyway, let's just say I talked to one half of that duo today, and they were like, oh yeah, we can do this, we could do that. um and I already told them my idea in advance, mind you. I don't know if I already said it in this video, but let's just say I told them, hey, I'm making a song and this is the beat. I recorded myself rapping over like the beat Accent by Megan Thee Stallion. I made it clear like I would like a beat that's pretty much very close to like Accent by Megan Thee Stallion, but I also like am open-minded. But they came to me and they were like, I want to make a beat that's kind of like Peggy by, I mean, C China's song Peggy. And I was like, that would be cool. But my main song, I guess I'm leaning more towards like Accent by Megan Thee Stallion. I love that beat if you could help me make it. But I could be open-minded if you did have an idea to like combine the two of sorts. Like that could be interesting, and I can paint. And I sent them like how I sounded rapping the lyrics, the flow of the song, how I sounded rapping the lyrics on top of Accent by Megan Thee Stallion. And you want to know what this nigga did? You want to know what beat they were actively making in front of me today? Imagine you tell a nigga that you want a beat like Accent by Megan Thee Stallion, and they start making the equivalent of the Undertale Waterfall OST. And if you don't know what that is, I implore you to look up both of those songs. But simply put, it's like, think of like an underwater level that you would get in like a video game. Like all the little, yeah. How do you accidentally make that? It's like that's nowhere near what I mentioned. And then I talked to them further because I finally decided, okay, I need to pipe up and talk about this. I told them, hi, I'm not sure if you quite like, I do like this what you're making. It's beautiful, it's a masterpiece, but I don't feel like it quite fits what I'm going for this specific song. And I made it clear because I kind of figured, hey, closed mouths don't get fed, and I don't want this nigga to work on a whole fucking beat that I will never ever use, Like, Jesus. And then I just was like, I painted a picture more of like, I was like, here, like, listen to the song Mine by Princess Nokia and Accent by Megan Thee Stallion. I think it would be interesting to take the bass line from that, and then the rest of the song has more of a like the energy of like Mine by Princess Nokia, if you get what I mean. Anyway, let's just say there was and I explained it all, I elaborated very much in depth. Let's just say they had a very long silence, and then I gave them a cop out. I said, unless you'd like to take a break and maybe touch base on this later, and then they were like, yeah, I'll do that. I think I need more talented friends for that. What do you mean you need more talented friends? You accidentally made a fucking Undertale, Pokemon, Sonic the Adventurer, Tonic, fucking whatever type beat. And you're saying that you can't use your little MIDI computer bullshit to be like dun 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 dun, except in a slightly higher pitch with the what? How can you? I don't know. That's like asking someone to like help you draw a stick figure, and then they make something that rivals like Picasso and Van Gogh, and it's like, that's wonderful, but sadly the rest of the picture is just like me having like a fucking sun poorly drawn in the corner wearing sunglasses, and like a very shitty house that looks like a box, and it just doesn't fit the project, man. It's like you have the talent and just like, this is not, yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was extremely fucking awkward. It's a headache trying to bond with other creatives. Like, it's a blessing to know creatives, and it's a blessing that, like, they want to do nice things for me, especially for free. But, holy fucking shit. Sometimes, free shit, you see why it's free. Jesus. Anyway, yeah, so that's why, even though I can outsource help and feedback from other people, sometimes other people are not very smart, or not very invested, or just do what the fuck ever and do things that don't even make sense. And the thing is, you just have to kind of follow your own passion and be like, I'm doing this for me, I know what I want, and I'm not going to have anything less. You will be so much happier in life that way. And I truly, genuinely mean that. Like, for example, I'm working on a project right now, and not everyone sees the vision, but it's okay because I do, and I'm still working on it. Anyway, peace out, bye.